What is the best burger topping?
Onions.
Jalapenos.
Pickles.
What is happening?
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, let's not get into that. Well, let's get into it.
I knew for some reason Amber would say pickles.
I
Why?
hate pickles. I hate
What?
pickles. Pickles
How
are
do
the
you-
worst.
Yeah, you were trying to give me your pickles yesterday.
Wait,
suck.
pickles aren't bad. Pickles are great.
They suck. Just eat cucumbers. Like, it's much better.
No, I definitely like pickles, but I don't like the sweet pickles. Those are horrible.
What is a sweet pickle?
They're literally sweet. It's gross. Like, you want a pickle to be sour.
Right,
not-
right.
But not like, it needs to be fresh though, you know? Like, when they give you those like long pickles
They're
with-
so crunchy.
on the side of a burger, the crunchy ones are the best. Yeah.
Those are so good.
I'm throwing up
I
in
just
my
want
mouth.
to say that all of our answers were amazing. Those are like what you need on a burger.
Wait, Shamir, you said onions?
I said onions.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you like
Yeah,
onions
onion-
on your burger?
Yeah,
I know
do.
Frost, you don't like onions like by themselves, but
I don't like onions by themselves for sure, but like in a burger, in like a nice cheesesteak, ooh.
yeah.
On a pizza, even that's good.
Grilled
Onions,
or regular, like
Yeah, a raw.
raw.
it depends. So if we're eating like a grilled burger on a barbecue or something, then fresh would be nice because it's nice and crunchy.
Yeah.
But in a cheesesteak, it just needs to be fried the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
let's go. Yeah.
I agree with
I
that.
like the crunch. I like the raw onions in a cheesesteak because then it has that little. I always like the crunch from the onion. It just
Here's the
is
thing
so
though. I knew Amber said
refreshing.
pickles because Amber is the type to eat pickles by themselves out of a jar or something.
I have just bought pickle snacks where it's a bag you open
What'd I
it
say?
and you eat pickles just like that.
There's a
is
there's a
so
type
gross.
of person
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
for this, and I knew that you were that.
Yeah.
I saw a picture where
And I
someone,
would never marry someone who falls in that category. I'm just putting that out there for anybody who is interested.
Anybody who's interested in Frost, don't eat pickles around him.
Not
You know-
that, but just out of like a jar, just casually. Like if we're watching TV and you're eating pickles out of a jar, no thanks, divorce.
Okay, hold on. Let's just say I'm not eating them out of a jar. I'm eating them out of a snack that's a package that's made for snacking. Thank you very much.
That's kind of gross too, but I saw a picture where someone had it was pickle and it was covered in cotton candy. And so
What?
Ew.
they would bite it and there was a pickle inside and they're like on Twitter they're like, this is the best thing ever, and someone quote tweeted it and they were saying just tell us
Jail.
you're pregnant. Just tell us you're pregnant.
Jail.
That's insane. Well, that question comes from Bluebell Happiness on IG. So thank you for sending that in. If you guys
you.
want your question, us to answer one of your little topics, send it in either on our Instagram or email us, strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com.
Wait,
At
really
Strange
quickly
Flavors
though.
everywhere.
Before we get into the intro, what is like your ideal burger? I'm just curious.
Ooh.
Oh.
Let me tell you what my ideal burger is right now, what I'm thinking. Okay. Nice, thick patty.
Okay.
3 C's. And then the jalapenos and onions have to be grilled at the bottom. Okay? Underneath the patty. And then on top, lettuce, tomato, and what's the... Is it... the chipotle mayo.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And that's it.
Dang.
That's
That
what I
was,
want
that
right
was
now.
a pretty solid burger, except
Thick
for the
pat-
tomatoes.
Thick patty or double patty, depends where you go. Lettuce, tomato, onion, ketchup, a little bit of chipotle mayo, onion, if I didn't mention that. I like to put fries in my burger, like from the side. I put them in.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like chips. I wanted to say that. I
Ooh,
want
that's a
chips
good
in
one.
mine too.
Chips. is
You
good.
know, real quick on the ketchup, and you said ketchup and mayo?
Yeah.
So my brother puts like ketchup, mustard, and mayo in his burger,
Yeah.
and it just looks so wet to me. Like that's too much sauce. I can only have one sauce. I think I can't do more than one sauce. If anything, I'm
A
dipping
wet
it in
burger
ketchup, but
is
not
a
in the.
good burger. A wet
Ew,
burger
no,
is
it
a
gets
good
soggy.
burger.
Nah.
Yes.
A soggy
yes.
burger is the worst burger you could have.
Oh, okay. Listen, I'm not a big burger type person. Like if you go to a restaurant and get burgers, you know they're big burgers. I hate those.
Little
I want a
cheeseburger,
nice,
little Whopper.
nice small burger, right? Small to medium sized patty, not too big.
Weenie
with-
Hut Junior.
with
Weenie
a
Hut Junior.
slice of American cheese, some onions, like a nice thick crispy like red onion with jalapeno, ooh, and pickles, ketchup, and then depending on what the vibe is, I might dunk that whole thing in either more ketchup or barbecue sauce. I'm a sauce person. I enjoy the sauces, so anything to keep the burger wet.
Wow.
You're gross.
Very, very tasty, I guess. Like our podcast, Strange Flavors. And welcome to it. This is brought to you by Alif Theory. My name is Shimmer.
I'm Faras.
My name is Amber.
Yes, you can email us your burger recipes or anything, like your favorite burger. You can email us, or a good burger place, and you can send us your music at strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also let all your homies know where to listen to this podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Anywhere that you can listen to podcasts.
Anywhere. And if you want to see me in the clouds, you can watch this on YouTube.
You're way up.
I'm way up in the clouds, and you won't know unless you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
You won't know.
That's
And
factual.
we're also not only up in the clouds, but on your social medias.
Wow.
At Strange Flavors. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all over. And if you want to be up in the clouds like my brethren, Bobber Bagel and Cassie Cupcakes.
He's also
They're in
your
the-
brother?
Brethren, yeah. She's part of the brethren of
The brotherhood.
Strange Flavors Town. However,
And it's growing.
It's growing again.
Wow.
How?
How? Do we have another person bringing in a new business into town?
Bobber's Bagels is bringing another cart into town.
Stop. This is a monopoly.
He has two
Oh, I
carts now.
forgot. I forgot about this. That's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Bro, all right, guys. What the heck is going on? Bobber Bagels is supporting us 3 times.
That's crazy.
He saw that he had competition in the last episode, so then he's like, "Wait, I need a one up."
He
That's
opened
crazy.
he opened one of those carts at the colleges. You know how they come in for the promos?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes like you'll see college students, they're like wearing like Monster shirts, or they're like, driving around that Red Bull can.
And they're giving out free Red Bulls.
Yeah. Bobber Bagel just opened one of those. He hired like a promo intern
Wow.
specifically for this.
No, for real.
Jeez.
Thank you, Bobber's Bagels, and thank you, Cassie, for supporting
Cassie's
this podcast.
Cupcakes.
Yeah, if you'd like to also support this podcast, there is a link down below, and your monthly donation upgrades this podcast and actually got me into the clouds
Wow.
because I could afford a plane ticket to be this high up.
He actually we funded his trip through Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Elon was like, "Listen, Shimmer needs to be in the clouds for this next podcast."
That's
we were
crazy.
Because
We were like,
I
you
was
know what,
already
we
in
have the
space.
funding.
I was in space like a couple episodes ago.
That's true.
I was in a
The Earth
coffee
was
shop.
farting.
Yeah, the Earth was farting. I was in a coffee shop. Like that's pretty expensive, right? Like $5 Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive.
So we have to continue funding Shimmer's backgrounds. So
yeah. So
Please.
what's in between the space and Starbucks?
Anything.
The clouds.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, anything. You're right. You're not wrong. But yeah, anything. And also, if you'd, like to support us in general, we do have a cultural comedy channel, Rona Ponal, and we have a Patreon for that as well.
Wow.
You get exclusive videos and everything.
we should
you
play
can
the
find
we
that
should
in
play
the
that really sad dog music. You know, for the dog shelter or whatever they used to
Yeah.
come.
In the
In the arms of an
An
angel.
angel.
Yeah, the way that SHAH-AMEER was just talking just now, it seemed like that needed to be played in the back.
For one monthly donation, you can support these starving
Yeah.
artists.
You
Yeah,
can
but on-
also send in your music if you have a cousin. Tell them to send in the music.
Amber, you really like cousins.
I know.
for
We already
4
did that part of the podcast. And she
No, we
brings
didn't.
it back. Yes,
Because we
did.
didn't. I had to mention the cousins, and I want them to bring in their music. Until we have somebody bring in their cousin's music, I will keep saying it.
Are you like? Do you like cousins? Or something?
My cousins are cool.
Okay.
Yeah, if my cousin made music, I would support it.
Which cousin side is better, the dad side or? Will this get you in trouble?
It won't get me in trouble.
Okay.
However,
Dad side or mom side?
both for different reasons, but I'm gonna say mom side for the fun, dad side for the company, like for the like my best
You need
friend
both.
is on my dad's. Yeah,
You need the balance because one
Yeah.
side is like the more like hardworking, intellectual, like competitive side, and then one side's like, how can we get in trouble today? Like, what can we do that's gonna cause the most amount of damage?
Yeah.
Like you need both. You gotta have a
let's
equal
turn up.
balance.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's mom's side. And if I get in trouble for this, I don't care. But it's true.
Is what your favorite side?
Yeah, my mom's
I think that's like a lot of people tend to agree on that.
Yeah.
But you are somebody's dad's side.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, dude.
But the
What if
crazy
I
thing
suck?
is,
That probably sucks to somebody.
Like there's someone more. If you think that you're the fun one, there's always somebody more fun than you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, me and my cousins all sat there one day, and this is all the cousins on my dad's side, and we all sat there and agreed that our mom's sides are better.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's a
but yeah,
mutual
guys,
agreement.
Real quick, back on the Patreon support thing. Just wanted to say that we really appreciate all of your guys' donations and for signing up for the Patreon because we're looking at all of that and have plans for that. You know, we do give you exclusive content, yes, but apart from that, it helps us establish what we want to do with our productions in the future. So hopefully you will see the signs of all of that coming in very soon. So we thank everybody who has supported the journey for us as artists and as individuals. Unlike the people that sometimes come to me for their artistic needs, right? So I have to give you guys another Photoshop story of the month.
Photoshop
What happened?
update.
Photoshop update. So you guys know I always give you these stories of bizarre situations where friends will ask to Photoshop all kinds of things.
Like reduce my weight or increase my weight.
Yeah.
Or
Does anybody tell you to increase their weight?
A guy, if it's like muscles or something, maybe.
True.
But no, it'll be like a joke usually. It's guys usually don't ask for stuff like that. Actually, I don't know how many guys ask. Not a lot. It's usually girls, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this time it was someone was at a picnic and they were wearing a skirt that was just at their knees, but the knees were showing a little bit. So they're like, listen, can you cover my knees with this same dress to make it more halal? And I was like, okay. And I did it, but then
You didn't do it right, did you? Knowing you did not do that the way she wanted.
But then I put a picture of Borat in that swimsuit in the back as one of the. It was on a beach, right? So then I put. I was like, okay, you're halal now, but we need some. The way that you really determine what's halal and what's not is by putting something that's haram next to it. So either I cover the knees, right, or we put something more haram next to it, and then it's not as bad. You know what the picture I'm talking about? Borat has that swimsuit.
Yeah.
It's just a thin line.
yeah.
Do you
And
get
just
my
covering his
logic here,
junk.
though? Like,
Yes, but this poor girl. What did you
like
end-
listen.
Oh my God.
If we cover the knees, right, there's gonna be somebody somewhere that's gonna say, "Oh, your top is too low. Oh, your arms are out there." We have haram police that are really. You know,
Someone's always going to criticize.
Someone's always going to criticize. But if there's someone that's really bad next to you, then you
They're
look
the
way
target.
better.
Oh.
Like for example, if I'm smoking weed, right, and
You have somebody doing crack right next to you.
someone
Yeah.
is doing crack next to me, I look like I'm just eating like a fruit gusher at this point.
God, Franz.
You get what I
see,
mean?
See, I didn't know where you're going at first. You were like, if you have something halal, put something haram next to it.
Now you get it?
But now I get it.
It's also works like this. Look,
Jesus.
if you want to look more attractive, you
Oh,
get some really
Lord.
ugly friends.
Frost,
and you are-
Is that what you did with us? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, look at. I'm just kidding. No, but it's true. Think about this. When you're setting yourself up for failure by getting really, really hot friends. Okay, say for example, like you guys were really hot. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Another joke.
Just imagine if we were
No,
hot.
but seriously, like if you're next to really hot people and you yourself are hot, okay, or even like a little bit attractive,
then you look like intermediate.
You now look like you're just out of their league. You don't
Yeah.
look like you can compete.
But also, like, what if you're like the least hot person, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are you with the hot people, right? There's something attractive about you that could make you look more attractive. I don't know. I feel like it goes both
If you're
ways.
the least attractive person in a group of attractive people, you need to find less attractive people to become your best friends.
No.
No.
I think the least attractive person has an edge because
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about.
The looks.
Well, first of all, it's like the I think it's called the Napoleon theory or something, where it's like
That's if you're super short.
when you're short, then you
Yeah.
compensate and you actually get like they say that shorter people are smarter and stuff like that because they have to
Right.
compensate for like
Yeah.
people don't just look at you and are like, oh my god, because think about tall people, right? Tall people just win in life because in a room they are given like that sort of just like praise for just being tall, like, oh my god, they're like, thank you, like,
Yeah.
yes,
I
I
feel
did
like that's
this.
a guy thing, but I
It's
get
a
what
guy
you're
thing,
saying.
yeah. It's a
No,
guy
but
thing.
it's a girl thing too, though.
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's a
I
guy
don't think it
thing.
is.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've never looked at another female who is shorter than me and been like, or like taller than me and been like intimidated by any means. And I don't think my height
Okay.
intimidates other females. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. It could be.
Okay. I remember in high school though, whenever there was like guys that were like pretty tall, the teacher would just like fall in love with them. It was so weird. It was bizarre to see, like, they'd be like, hey, Smitty, what's going on? Josh. It's just like you're automatically friends because you're tall.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And then like us short guys, we're just looking at it like, oh, you wait.
And then they have to like
Oh,
take
you
over.
Let me
wait,
show
and then
you.
don't.
Let me show you
Yeah.
who the real pal is here.
Yeah.
All right. Chami, you're pretty tall compared to most people. Did you ever get this?
No.
Especially with Pakistani guys or like Desi guys, you're definitely taller than the average, I think, right?
I don't know. In my area, I feel like there's so many tall people that they just overshadowed
true.
everyone.
That's
so
true.
like everyone was just overshadowed by the tallest people. So I didn't even think of myself as tall. I still don't. I
He's
think
like, until I start hanging out with y'all.
no, but I mean, I think like 5'9" is the average height
Yeah.
in America. So I'm slightly above average. So
I
I never
think 5'8"
felt.
is average.
Yeah, so I never felt like, oh, I'm huge. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're around there, you don't really feel any of those polar
You
opposites.
said this in a past podcast where you were like, oh, like I've tried to gain weight to be like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that a thing amongst you with other people where you're like, oh, I want to, like, I'm
think-
coming across as too skinny or anything like that?
I think that's common amongst most guys.
That can be worked on though. That can always be. You can always
Yeah.
change how wide you are. You can't change how tall you are.
Yeah.
Unless you're like putting on, like
Yeah.
like really thick heels or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it all depends.
It also is most common amongst like a lot of guys. Like someone would be like, "Oh, I'm not cut enough," or "I'm not,
Yeah.
bulky enough." Like that's between
Overall
everyone.
though, that's why I say like I think it's better you have an edge when you're the like all jokes aside, when you're like the one who has to compensate more with your personality, with your intellect, just overall like you have to try harder. I think it ends up paying off more because
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, at the end of the road, if you only ever use your physical appearance to benefit you in life, sometimes it works out. I think it works out more for girls in the long run, but a lot of times it's just like, what more is there to this person? What? What?
I was about to be like, people don't really use their physical appearance to, like, you know, do better in life. And as I'm about to say that, I look down at my sweater and I just have a pair of lashes stuck to my sweater that I have no idea where they came from. I'm
Well,
sorry.
life told you real quick that that
Be
is not
prettier.
true. You really think people don't use their what are you talking
Oh.
about?
No.
Nah.
I mean, okay. Let me clarify. I don't think that the average person is like using their looks to benefit them in their daily life.
Okay, because they're average. If you're
Right. But like, for
No-
example, me, like, I'm average. I'm not like, oh yeah, let me like, you know, okay, I get it. I'm average, so that's why I wouldn't do that. It took me a minute to get there.
No, but I
okay,
feel like
but
we
there's
do in
never
our
times you dress up and are
job interview
putting on makeup and stuff like that
Um,
to
Well, yeah, but that's
be impressive and all that.
But like, that's also like dressing for the occasion, right? So it's not like you're doing it to impress people. You're like,
You're-
I think
you could-
dressing
you could
for
sh-
the occasion is very different than like trying to wow
trying to wow others or yourself.
you're not. I don't really believe in that. Like,
There's levels
wowing
to it, right?
yourself.
You go to a wedding, right?
Listen, I would, if I'm going somewhere, I'm like trying to wow myself and probably not trying to wow others. Like, that's not a thing to me
people.
to be like,
I think people say that a lot. I don't know if that's true. Like when people are like, yeah, like I do makeup for myself. It's
are you
like,
kidding me? That's like the most therapeutic part of my whole day.
But when you're not going out and stuff, like, are you doing makeup?
Absolutely. Like there'll be days where I'm not taking pictures, I'm not doing anything. I'm simply, even if I'm going to the gym sometimes, I'll just throw in a little bit of tinted moisturizer
but you're going to the gym.
And mascara. Or what I'm saying is that's not some place that I would wear makeup to be more attractive. I'm not trying to look attractive at the gym. It's not a thing that I'm trying to do.
But you're trying to at least like look like I hear this all the time. I've heard it from you, I've heard it from my sister, I've heard it from a bunch of people. And even my sister, she doesn't even care about that kind of stuff, but she still says it sometimes where she's just like, oh my God, let me at least put on some makeup or something.
I think it's more so about like making yourself look like, there's this idea like if your hair's not done, then you need to do your makeup to make up for it. If you don't do your makeup, you need to do your hair, whatever.
Well, the thing is, it makes you feel more confident, right? But it's because of the reaction of other people. Because if that wasn't there, then it wouldn't, like, because, okay, I'll say it without makeup.
Listen, for example, like, I have shown up to us, for example, going on a trip, right? Where I'm like, okay, I know SHAH-AMEER's camera's gonna be there. It's all about my mind. I will show up with acne dots on my face to be like, hey, what's up, guys? Not giving a care in the world about what it is. And there's some days where I'm like, oh, like, we're gonna be doing this vlog, and like giving myself excuses for why I should look good. Where in reality, I'm like, no, I just feel like looking good. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm trying to look good for this reason. Those same people can be there doing whatever. It's just a matter of how I feel that day and how I want to feel. I get it,
but it's like sometimes people make it like a gender thing. It's not even a gender thing. It's because if I think about as guys, right? It's just we shouldn't ignore like what the obvious is, and if that's the case, it's fine. Like if for example, if I'm going out and I just have like my hair in a giant poof or something like that, right? It would make me feel better at times where other people perceive me as a normal, decent looking human being than me just being like, oh, I don't care. But if I'm at home, I'm not gonna like do extra stuff if I'm just chilling.
See,
and that's
I guess
okay.
In my mind, in that same scenario, I would be putting my hair, instead of it being poofy, I would be taming it so that when I go somewhere, I feel better, not due to the reactions of others, but because when I look good, I feel good. And it genuinely has nothing to do with the reactions of others or perception of others. It has to do with how I want to feel that day.
Yeah, there's a degree to that, right? It's just like when you're like totally caked up.
And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for like all women or all whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah, but generally I'm saying like if you're totally like done up, caked up, whatever, like that to me, and then you're like, oh, this is for me. It's just like, it's okay to say like, okay, this makes me feel good because like other people are also going to react, and you know, it's gonna make me feel better by that. Like I don't. You really doing?
I don't know, because I guess like I kind of get it, because sometimes I wear like clothes that I love, right? Mm-hmm. And like and they might not necessarily fit the fashion standards. They might like be contrasty colors, but I love wearing it, right? And I go out and I feel better because I'm like, yo, this is my style, this is my fit. Even though no one says a thing about my outfit, like I still feel good and feel great, and I might be more talkative or confident. So I guess in that way, I guess I can relate.
For example, when you guys first met me, I was more of what you guys called like a gypsy-looking person, right? Nobody in my life enjoyed that style of mine. Nobody was like impressed by that, whatever. I did it because I was like, ooh, I'm feeling this. Ooh, I'm doing this. Oh, like it wasn't like a trend. People didn't find that popular. It wasn't like something that other people were going to be in like, wow, you look nice, or like this is really cute. It was because I felt good dressing like that. And now I went from gypsy to Nike.
There's I think there's a different perception and different intention behind it all.
Yeah.
But I think you can't ignore both. Yeah. Like there's definitely factors to both. I think we all feel different on different days. We have phases in our life. We've all gone through different phases. Some people have like the middle school skater, emo, jock, name it, you know, like everybody has different things that like feel like what they are like at that time, and then there's phases where you're wearing things like Abercrombie and Hollister and whatever might be the trend, and some people are like, you know what, this does not feel like me, I hate this. And some people are like, you know what, like, I fit in, I'm glad. And you just have to, you can't ignore all of that just by saying a statement like, oh, I do this for me, I do everything for me. It's just like,
no,
there's
I
degrees
do
to
think it's
everything.
what you're saying, that it's a balance, but I think that's what it is that like you can't say that it's more of one thing than the other, or yeah.
Sure. Anyways, so Reels just came out on Instagram. Which is competitive against TikTok. What are your guys like sort of initial thoughts on that?
Dude, I think right now the way they did it's kind of tacky. Like, you have to go through this to view the Reels, and then you have to scroll, and it's obviously all taken from TikTok. Like, the posts on there, it's all TikTok-y. Yeah. But I think it will grow into something its own eventually. But I'm excited how they.
I still don't even get how to completely use it yet. It's like, yeah, how you're saying there's like, you have to either go towards where you usually go to the stories to like, I guess, post it, but then on the Discover page, they're there.
You have to go to
and
Explore,
then,
yeah.
And if someone sends you one, you can like scroll down like TikTok, and then it'll be a completely different one. And is it catered towards you like TikTok is, or?
I think so.
I think it's your followers.
It's either that or it's
random because I see random ones.
Yeah, it's random, but there's probably one, not enough content, and two, not enough of you scrolling to like figure out what your For You page should be. So you're probably
I wish
like
there was
stuff.
a real For You page though. I don't like that it's all one feed, because then it's just like, oh, it's just another
There
video.
is. It's called TikTok. You could just go on there and see that. And that's my issue with it. It's just like with Instagram, right? It's just so cluttered now. First we had the stories taken from Snapchat, and then Snapchat kind of like, you know, nobody really uses it like that anymore, as popular as it was. And then the stories became way more popular than the actual posts. And now if you want people to see something, you have to post a story about it. And the post, it doesn't really matter because, you know, people keep up with the stories more than they keep up with the posts. And then now we have Reels, which, like, for me, I use different apps in different ways. Like, there's certain content that I'll post on TikTok that might not go on like other things, and the same goes for other things. So on TikTok, I'm like a completely, it's like that first, when YouTube first came out, it was like watching those random videos that were like so fun and all that. That's what I like seeing on my TikTok. It's just like, I'm just here for a good time.
Yeah.
And I just want to see like fun stuff, right? Yeah. On Instagram, it's like the people that I follow and stuff, it's so much like creative stuff, it's photography stuff, you know, all that sort of thing. And it's like more so for inspiration. And now all of those things have to come together on this one app that we don't really have a choice, because everyone is going to go towards that, start posting on that if TikTok gets shut down anyways. And it's just like kind of annoying that when something becomes the one place for everything, then it's
Facebook
like
takes over.
It takes over, and also it's just like there's not as much diversity, because if they know that the content that you watch is this specific thing, then it all becomes too much. Yeah. And if I want one sort of like, I want to feel one sort of thing, like for example how I go on TikTok just like for a good time, I can't have that anymore because it's gonna include other things.
Like all your emotions, like Instagram doesn't know what emotion to give you. Like you're on your feed, you're seeing inspirational stuff, maybe memes, whatever, your friends, and then your stories, it's all personal or someone's promoting something, and then Discover, it's whatever you go on. And now Reels is trying to be this comedy Vine TikTok thing. It's like you don't know how to feel. And I guess like Twitter kind of has a similar vibe, but like Twitter is just, you know what you're seeing, it's just one straight down, you're going straight down. But Instagram, you're like, oh, I'm feeling this up here, I'm feeling this over here. Like
it's a little cluttered,
but I don't know how they're gonna save it. So
I mean, I think that every time something like this happens, we're like, no, why are we doing it? And then we end up liking it. Like, I like the Instagram stories now.
I mean, I think it's better than the post now.
Yeah, it is, honestly. And then,
but there's no organization to it though. It's like the people that you always view, that's the stories you're gonna see. Because sometimes I'll go on someone's page or post or something, and I forget that they also post stories. I watch the same stories pretty much every day, and I'd have to really scroll all, like, How far do you guys scroll to watch stories?
I don't scroll.
You don't scroll at all. See, that's the thing. It's like you're not getting a true representation of your entire people that you follow. And then sometimes when you follow somebody new, now they take up a spot, and now it's just like, why do I keep seeing this person? Oh yeah, because they're in my thing.
Yeah. Well, not to be like a tech nerd, but I think algorithmically, like people watch the stories more if they see like whoever they're watching already.
Oh, for sure. It works out, and it's all favored towards staying on the app more.
Yeah.
That's what it always is.
That's what it's working.
And also the other scary part is that it's just like, this is all now, social media is all going to be just Mark Zuckerberg. Like, whatever site we go on is going to be owned by him.
He met with the Trump administration the day before the Reels came out.
Yeah.
And obviously very much so involved with the decision of if Microsoft is even buying TikTok and if we're going to keep it, and if not, then it's gone, and then we only have Reels and we just have to deal with Reels.
The key is just to keep the same energy, and our like government and does not like to do that. Like, we can give away all this information, and I see that, you know, I've been doing a little bit of research on what that actually means, and I see how China can manipulate that, and how you mentioned before, Shamir, like use little kids, and that can kind of be like a really scary thing.
Did you see that Andrew Schultz video?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was like exactly what I said, but like he said it better.
Yeah, and then at the end he says, you know, like with the Reels thing, he goes, you know, we're just bootlegging off of a Chinese app. And then he's like, well, China, now you know how it feels. Since China is usually the one bootlegging a lot of, you know, American things or things around the world.
But I mean, TikTok has helped like a lot of creators in the U.S. and like they're bringing a lot of jobs and $1 billion in revenue for creators. Like, I don't know. I feel like it is helping U.S. economy, and it could essentially in the long term. But I think it's all about data, and that's what they're afraid of. But
well, it's also Trump doesn't necessarily care as much about that as much as the fact that they were making fun of him on TikTok. Like, that's in my opinion, I'll say, just to keep it casual, that like he was mad that people were making fun of him on TikTok, and that's why they're trying to ban it.
It's also in general when you have a clear enemy to point to, which in this case, like, America can just say like, oh, the Muslims, oh, the Chinese, oh, this group of people. It makes it a lot more easy to comprehend for people that don't know as much and aren't going to listen as much, to just be like, oh yeah, these people are ruining our freedom or whatever it might be for us. So whatever the president says, yeah, let's get rid of those people. And if this app is made by those people, bam. Like, just like saying the Chinese virus for the coronavirus. It's like, oh, we have someone to point to. Let's, you know, figure out a way to make this country responsible for this and have an enemy, so that we can't really take the credit for us messing up how we treated the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What happened with this mom podcast thing?
So this relates to, I guess, TikTok, but I saw that, you know, Spotify, they made a deal with Addison Rae, one of the biggest creators. And she has a podcast. Second biggest creator.
TikTok.
And she has a podcast with her mom. And so I was wondering, would you guys ever do a podcast with your mom, and what you guys would talk about?
Well, one, we should mention that it would make a lot of sense also for Addison Rae to do a podcast with her mom, because the first video of her that popped off on TikTok that got her clout was with her mom. So maybe she feels like that is a source of clout for her. I think the bigger interesting thing, really quickly, is that she's best friends with Kourtney Kardashian now and hangs out with her daily.
Really? How old is she?
Addison Rae is 19 and Kourtney Kardashian's like 45.
Addison Rae is 21.
She's not 19?
No.
Okay, well, still 21 to...
I don't know.
Double check. She works out with her every day. I'm checking right now.
Well, I guess that's like around Kylie's age, so that's not that weird.
Why is she
She's
hanging
19.
out with Kylie?
Addison Rae is 19.
She's 19. Okay.
And she, she goes to Kourtney's house every single day, and she works out with her and eats avocado pudding. I said that right, avocado pudding.
Barf.
With her. I mean, sounds low-key fire, but also, like, what is avocado pudding?
Honestly, I don't care about the avocado pudding. I want to know if you guys would do a podcast with your mom. And I want to know what you guys would talk about with your mom.
I would love to do one with either of my parents. I think sometimes just speaking to them about things that we don't usually speak about, just to get their thought on this. Like if I ask my dad, like who's your best friend or something like that.
Yeah.
I get such an answer that I would not expect. Mm-hmm. And usually, your conversation with your parents are like about, okay, food, career, job, school, what you're going to do for the weekend, things like that. But you don't know your parents on like a friend's basis that much. And then sometimes when I hear the things that my mom did when she was younger, my dad did, and their interests, it's like it's amazing because you think you know your parents and you forget that they lived an entire life before you came in. Yeah. So yeah, I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I remember like talking to your dad, and then like before I'm always like respectful to uncles and whatnot, but sometimes I forget to like treat them as like friends or people sometimes.
Yeah.
And then when you do like try to treat them like friends and they tell you about their stories and stuff, it's like, holy crap, this is like a whole different perspective in life on things that you can never, and you see them as like friends instead of like a second parent or something, which is not bad, but like I think that's really cool.
It's a much cooler relationship to have, especially at this age. Yeah. Where you're starting to become more friends with them than you are, like, because you don't really need them as much for any sort of like caretaking. You're kind of on your own. You're just kind of like living with them, and so the conversations become a lot more interesting.
For sure, I think it'd be really cool. I've been spending a lot of time with my dad, and I'm just like, he's like my best friend right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Last thing I want to talk about before we bring in the guest is I've been thinking a lot about this topic, and it kind of initiated from the explosion that we saw happen in Lebanon recently, where tons of people were injured, and it's just like a huge tragedy going on top of their already like issues that country has been facing for a while. But throughout this year, we've experienced really like and where we live in our situation, like nothing really that made us change our lives, dramatically in any way. And especially being entertainers, creators, for me, I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel extremely awkward at times that we keep, putting out this entertaining content, and you have to always like think in a global way, because you're getting all this news that's so devastating from around the world, and so much happened this year, right? Like everything from the tragedies of coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, things that happened, the Uyghurs still in the camps in China, the Muslims that are being held, you have Palestine, Syria, Yemen, like the list goes on. It's just so many things that have been going on that it's just like horrible to see. But like, does it ever make you feel just like awkward, or like, man, like I'm having a good life right now and we're having fun a lot of times, but like all this is happening in the world? Like, do you feel bad ever for like posting or creating or anything like that?
I feel bad all the time. I'm like, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, yo, I shouldn't post this, but I feel like sometimes for me, the reason I create is sometimes like it makes me happy, and I feel like it could also make someone kind of forget like how crappy the world is sometimes. And sometimes I forget that, but I think that's what entertainers, they're needed for. That's why people scroll on TikTok endlessly. But it's also sometimes our duty to give light to these situations that people may not know or may not see. So I think a good balance is good.
Yeah, I think that's really well put. I think that's exactly what it is. I was actually having this conversation on Instagram Live, because I was just like, when I saw that, I like that night I planned to like just work on stuff, but I just didn't feel like it. I was like, how am I supposed to just come up with like, exciting stuff or energetic, especially that, if you're making, there's been a lot of sad music that's come out this year, and like a lot of, things that could kind of just pass on what's been going on with the time. And it's still creative content, but it's like it goes with the times. And then when you see this type of content, right, like when it's joyful, happy, entertaining, people having a good time, and that's what I was like gonna work on that night. But then I just went on live and I just wanted to talk about it, like, and see if anyone else is kind of in that boat. And my brother-in-law, who is also, he's a creative guy too. He doesn't do like as like crazy like fun entertaining stuff like us, but it's more spiritual and things like that, and very nice. But he was saying that it's needed kind of more than ever, because it's a sign of hope. And if somebody looks at you in that way of like, you know what, no matter what's going on in the world, I can come to this channel, or I can go to these people and still see a sign of hope, that there's still like good people, or like there's still people that are enjoying life and making the best out of situations, then it makes them feel better, like you just said. And I think it's super important that we do talk about them every now and then, and we continue to do what we can on our part, whether it be raising awareness, using our brand for things to raise money and things like that. But yeah, it did make me feel better when I heard like that you can literally be that sign of hope. So that was kind of cool. Amber, is there any particular way that you feel about?
I just want to say that if we weren't already desensitized due to like the globalization of news and just us being able to really learn about a lot of things from around the world and have it being put on all platforms and handed directly to you in your hand prior to this year, that 2020 really put that into perspective, where it was like one thing after another. Mm-hmm. That for me it was like honestly grasping that this is even, and I don't want to say this to disrespect anything, I'm just speaking true to myself, that grasping what is happening is almost kind of like, oh yeah, and like it's like right here, it's not here, it's kind of floating above me somewhere. Because if I was to grasp the desensitization, and if I was to grasp every single negative thing that is happening around me at this point, there's not enough stimulation that I'm getting in quarantine, like where I can surpass that and like break through it mentally. Okay, so if I'm absorbing all of that and really, really putting that onto my shoulders and in my head that this is happening, I don't know if I'm going to be able to really stay afloat. So
it's like the saying of help yourself to help others. Like if you're not able to do anything for yourself, then you're not even going to be able to do anything for somebody else. And so that's a huge thing of like taking care of your own health, your own mental health is a huge thing.
It makes me feel very selfish at times to not be, that I don't want to absorb it. It's just I also know my capacity, and I am an empath, and I feel a lot for other people, and like I absorb other people's energy, and things like this, like very big what is it called, like disasters, I guess it's not a disaster because it was done, but like these types of things, if I absorb that energy, I can't, because there's too many things happening on a daily basis that I physically can't stand.
I think the issue becomes that the guilt is raised more than ever, because you see other people posting about things, and you sometimes might feel the need that, oh, if I don't say something, then I'm going to look like I don't care about this. Or especially if you're posting particular content that is, not related to that, then it's like, okay, I have to make up for that and post an equal amount of content that raises awareness. And my thing is like, as long as it's helping in some way, then, and it comes off authentic, then it should be passed on. Because sometimes people are just, sharing information, and this is nobody's fault, but sometimes people just think it's the right thing to do. They're just sharing information that's not really, pointing to a solution. And sometimes it is important to raise just the awareness, but then also like, how can we learn more? If people are, sharing more relevant information that helps us learn more, or actually point to a source that helps us contribute in some way, then it's worth it.
I think these things have been popping up more with the times. It's like, learn what's happening in blah blah blah, learn what's happening here, and people are like breaking it down into like a literal, like, digestible pieces of information that is like way easier than scattering yourself across the internet to figure out this piece and reading this article and this article. And like, I think that's been really helpful this year. So sharing those pieces of information is a little bit more helpful, I guess.
I saw this recent article that says Florida man receives $3.9 million in COVID-19 relief funds, buys a Lamborghini, and gets arrested for fraud. So that's what it's just like. It's so scary to think that there's also people there that are posing as, you know, these great charitable people, and then they're using funds, and that's extremely scary. $3.9 million and buys like a Lambo off of it. But he's from Florida, so
we'll give him
just
a pass.
know that if you're ever donating somewhere and it happens to be Florida, just bring that back, because you probably want to go through a different source.
I saw an amazing quote. It was like, America is what Florida, like, you know how Florida is to America? America is that to the rest of the world.
Ooh. Jeez.
Dang.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's real. Now I feel horrible. But okay, real quick, if you want to learn more about what's going on in Lebanon or need ways to help, that's linked in our bio. So you can click there and go there. As we're speaking about the rest of the world, we find out a little bit about our own biases and ignorance as we speak to the stranger today. So that stranger is a YouTuber vlogger known for her relatable content and self-described as a creative bundle of awkwardness. She was shouted out by big Pakistani YouTuber Irfan Junejo, but it doesn't change how she views the simple aspects of life. So we talked to her about her upbringing in Belgium, her aspirations in social work, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, everyone please welcome Haya Zamin. What kind of animal do you see yourself being?
I always said a goldfish.
A goldfish? Okay,
Oh, wow.
Why?
I guess it's easy to be in an aquarium and you're just like roaming around and doing nothing.
But you're trapped.
Are you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know
what
what
you
it's.
make it your home, right? No?
I don't know what
Yeah.
the perspective is from the goldfish.
It seems like they're chilling
Huh.
all the time.
Yeah,
That's
like they're
the
not
goldfish.
too big for it.
Yeah.
You would be a
Like
goldfish, so you could just be chilling.
Yeah.
True. I like
And then
that.
you don't have to do any, like, that's the thing about animals. It's just like they don't have responsibilities, you know?
I guess they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know about you, but my cat
Like
has work to
the only
do.
thing the only thing they have to do is like get food. But especially if you're a goldfish, you're getting food every day. So then what else? Like there's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
else.
why I want to be a goldfish, but like not another animal, because I think they have responsibilities. Like if you're a mom of a big animal, of a cow, for example.
A lot of animals, they just like let their babies go.
A kangaroo keeps them in their body.
Yeah. What about fish moms, though? Like a goldfish mom.
Don't they have a memory in 3
don't know.
seconds?
So they have no responsibilities, right? Or do
They
they?
have to keep themselves fed.
That's true. That's true. Unless there's like other things. Would you want to be in an aquarium with like other fish as well, or you're the only goldfish?
The only one. I don't know, probably one.
Just
So it's
one
not
other
boring?
fish?
Yeah, that sounds good, right?
Okay, is this a reflection off of your life? Like, is this how you would say that you generally are? Like, you only want a little bit of company or something?
Yeah, because I don't like to be around people.
Really?
I get really uncomfortable.
Okay, so this
Maybe
is
that's
interesting
why.
because you put yourself out there and present yourself in front of millions of people. So
Millions is a big word.
you've amassed 3 million views, over 3 million views, and you have almost 70,000 subscribers. So millions is the correct word.
Okay. It's easy in front of the camera, I guess.
Mhm.
Instead, and a goldfish just in an aquarium.
They don't have a camera.
We can get away from the goldfish.
Okay.
We're on you now. No,
It's
but how does
easy-
that translate? You know, like how are you able to be so comfortable in front of the camera?
Because there's no one around.
Hmm.
It's just the camera and my parents and my 3 brothers. That's it. Or family. Or
Were you instantly like good with the camera, or did you have to like get comfortable with it?
I don't know if you saw my first vlog. It's really awkward. And when you see my latest one, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's the first one is not that off. Like
The thing
it's
is,
still-
like, I guess you started vlogging like almost more than a year ago, slightly more
Yeah.
than a year ago, and you had such like a rapid comfortability with the camera. I feel like more than most people, I would say. I don't know. That's what I think.
I used to do theater as well. Maybe that's why, because I'm used to an audience. I guess that would be a reason to justify that. But
They're comfortable performing almost,
yeah,
just not in a social environment.
In front of people.
yeah,
That's
lighting.
that's very different.
If you're in a theater and you are playing, you don't see the audience. It's almost black.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's,
That's true, because then the light is on you too, so
Yeah.
you can't see them anyways.
So you're in the spotlight and they're not.
Yeah. So, you're Haya Zamin. You're a YouTube vlogger. How did we get to this place of you having amassed this much of an audience in only a year?
I got a shout out from Irfan Junejo.
Yeah, that's right. And if
That's-
people don't know,
That's the
Irfan
old name.
is a huge YouTuber in Pakistan. But how did he find you?
Well, he said I came into his recommendations, and that's it. That's how I made it.
That's awesome.
Was
But-
it how like quickly after you vlogging did that happen?
I started last year in Ramzan, which means, I guess, May.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he gave me a shout out in December,
Wow.
and now we're here.
What
Was
was it
that-
that he liked about your vlog that he saw so much?
The thing, what he said in his stories when he gave me a shout out was, everyone uses gimbals and how is it called? The one that flies in the air.
Jerome?
Drones.
Yeah, drones. While I was just holding a camera and showing everything. And he
Was it-
felt relatable. That's as well something that he said. I didn't understand that point because I'm a girl. I don't live in Pakistan. I'm 21. So I didn't get the point where he was like... I didn't get the point why he found me relatable, but that's what he also said.
Maybe
Well, that's
not
exactly
relatable
what I
to
was
himself,
telling.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was telling SHAH-AMEER before you came on here. Is just like I'd been watching some of your stuff here and there, and it seems like you're just there. Like if I'm doing something, and I have you on, it's just like a friend in the room, in the aquarium. You know, like it is relatable because you're not doing anything that's like crazy YouTube-y, I guess, in quotes, you know, like you're just documenting this is what's going on, and it feels like somebody's, especially for people like yourself who might be, you know, in their room, quiet, kind of away from people, doing their thing. It's like
It's comforting.
you're speaking their thoughts out loud.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is.
And it's comforting also, like, especially in like times like these where people are home, like, alone, right? They're so used to people being flashy and all that stuff, but seeing someone, like, you know, just talking about their daily life and making it more relatable, and you're not always like, hey, look at me, you're just like doing your thing, and it seems like you're talking to a friend, like,
Thank you.
processing.
Thank you.
So, you are in Belgium, which is pretty unique to us, and maybe that's our American ignorance, but how does a Pakistani family make it to Belgium? You were born and raised there, right?
Yep. Well, how my dad made it was because, well, I don't know about everyone, but most of the parents come here to work and to get money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my dad did. He he started working. He got married. My mom came, and then we came. That's how we did it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Are there a lot of
Nothing.
other families there too?
Yep.
A lot of Pakistani
There is a
families?
community. That's it. Nothing too special. I think it's like America a lot, but I think in America there are a lot of more people than here.
Yeah, for sure.
But there are a lot of people. But most of them stay and then they go away. Like my dad knows a lot of people that went back to the UK or went to Canada because the language in Canada is English.
Yeah, that
In the
must
UK
be
is
hard,
English.
like transitioning to learn a new language, right?
Yep.
So does your whole family know the native language there?
Nope. My dad speaks French and understands it. Dutch, nothing. My mom used to go to classes, but then she stopped going. And now they don't need it because, yeah, we're old enough to help around.
What
So-
languages do you and your brothers primarily speak?
Dutch.
Dutch, okay. And you just grew up on that, spoke it in school and everything like that too?
Yep.
What do they teach? Do they teach Dutch and English in school, or that's just something you pick up?
For example, the native language is Dutch. Dutch and French, so you decide to go to the school you want to. So my parents decided to send us to a school in Dutch. So basically you speak all the time Dutch. And then when I guess when you're 10 years old or something, they start to include French in it. And then when you're like they say secondary school, I don't know how it's called in
Middle school.
Middle
yeah,
school.
I guess that. Then they'll try to learn you like proper French, like
Can you
French.
can you say something in Dutch for us?
Ik ben Haya. I am Haya. And it's something really simple.
Yeah.
So
and
when
then
in
English,
English.
they learn that as well at middle school then. Yeah. But
So
not
how-
like professional level, just like you have to be able to talk. That's it.
Got it.
You said you have a community there. What do people think of either like U.S. Pakistanis or UK Pakistanis? Is there sort of like an understanding that you guys have of the different cultures that come with that?
In difference with UK or
Like Pakistanis in U.S. or UK? Like, do you guys ever watch or see communities from over there and see a difference?
I went to UK once. I also went
Okay.
to America once. I think UK may. Sorry.
No,
In
you're fine.
UK. In UK, I think not to be rude or something. Everyone has their own style. They're like, how do you call it in a nice word?
No, don't use the nice one.
they're they're posh.
Okay.
Bougie.
Yeah, bougie. Like
Okay.
they don't speak Urdu. Not everyone, huh?
Yeah.
But like, Pakistan, it's hot and while I don't think I have that, and I know many people here that don't have it.
So they're not as prideful of Pakistanis. I don't know. I don't want to say that actually, but
In your perspective, in your
From your
experience, I mean,
perspective,
that's
yeah.
we can't knock off your
That's-
experience, right?
yeah, that's how I experienced it. I
Why are
went
you? Well, go ahead.
I went to UK once, and yeah, you have the streets, and there's a big difference between how I see Pakistani here and there.
Hmm.
I guess because also maybe there are a lot of Pakistanis in UK, and you see them more frequently than here. Maybe that's why as well.
Yeah. Well, you've obviously chosen, to be a little bit more prideful of your, I guess, native country, and you speak Urdu in your vlogs.
Yep.
So why did you make that decision? Why not speak English or Dutch and cater to other audiences?
Well, the thing is, my dad and my mom as well, they always said, like, you don't forget your religion and where you came from. So we went every year to Pakistan. I used to be a baby and they took me every year. Why I chose to do it in Urdu, I guess because I was comfortable in it at home. Because my vlogs are really homey, I guess. And I make them with my brothers and parents as well. So that was the easiest option.
Is
If you
your
see my
audience
v-
primarily from Pakistan?
Yeah. If you see my vlogs as well, we speak Dutch sometimes, like couple of words.
Do you have
Uh-huh.
some Indian followers as well?
Yeah,
Or okay.
as well. I have following from here as well. It's really funny though, but
Does it
Are
say
they-
where? Like Chicago, or does it say like what states, or no?
on Instagram,
Yeah. Does it tell you?
the top places are from Pakistan. But like when I message people, I don't. They do, and I reply. Most of them are also from Europe. I went to Germany once, and I made a story, and someone said, "Oh, we're also from here. We should meet." I was like, "Hey, sorry." But,
Did you meet them?
No, I was with family.
Where do you see that going? Like, in the future, if your vlogs are getting bigger and stuff, are you open to, meeting up with people and maybe like collaborating and things like that?
The thing is, I don't see it as a career or a big thing.
Okay.
If it's going to turn out to be a big thing, I think it would stop eventually, because I am not consistent. I have other priorities, and my goals in life are really different from what I'm doing on YouTube. So eventually it will stop, I guess.
So, when like Irfan Janejo like shouted you out, was that like a lot of pressure because you were doing this as fun?
I went through phases. I was really happy. I was like, what the hell? What did happen? What the hell? What is going on? Why did he? How did he come to my video? What? And then I was really happy. And then I was in this phase like, oh, what the hell? Why did he do that? Like, oh, why did he give me a shout out? I was enjoying it because I had a really
Simple.
yeah, it was fast and quick, and I never expected it. I was really happy when I had like a small. I'm still happy. I'm not going to sound ungrateful, but I don't know. It was not a pressure, but it was like I didn't know what I was doing, and I started thinking that people expect something from me. That was really hard because I didn't know what to
The
do.
people that were already following you like knew what they were in for, and like now you had a lot of other people
Yeah.
who you then felt like you had to like put on a show for almost.
Yeah, you have to justify when you don't upload, for example. And before that, I didn't care. And now it's like, because you have a big audience and you have to, like, they own you or something.
Wow.
It's not like that, but you feel this. I felt this
Sure.
way. But yeah,
Do you still
That
feel it?
makes sense.
sometimes, because I really wanted to be consistent in July. But my nanny passed away recently, so I couldn't be.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to know.
Thank you. Then okay, sorry. I wanted to be consistent, but I couldn't because the reasons. And before that, in July, I posted a poll on my YouTube channel saying, "Oh, do you think Haya will upload next week?" I was really pumped up. I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to upload," but I couldn't. I was like, "Okay, delete," and I deleted the post. So I still feel it because I really want to, but I can't. But yeah, I guess that's how it is.
you
Now
al-
I'm just accepting it. I'm like, that's how it is.
Do you always get like really excited when you upload, or sometimes are you like, oh, is this good enough for my audience? Or
Now I do. First, because I was uploading frequently, it was still inconsistent, but it was frequently than now. Then I had the thing, oh, this is boring, or this is too small, this is too simple. I started comparing me as well, because everyone is doing his or her own thing, and I was not consistent. And I was just showing around what I do on a daily basis. But now I don't feel that way, because I take my time. In my recent video, I was really happy when I edited it. I was really happy with that one.
Who do you think, like, from your audience, like, gravitate to you the most? Like, you know, in what ways do they feel like they relate to you the most, and like what type of person likes watching you?
someone who is weird as well, I guess. I get a lot of comments, whoa, you're just like me, or you talk just like me, or the way you do openly, are we doing privately? Do I make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I do get that a lot.
even when I first SHAH-AMEER introduced me to you, and I started watching some of the videos, I was trying to, in my sort of overly branded vision of how things are quote unquote supposed to be nowadays on YouTube and social media in general, right? Everything is so such like a template. It has this formula. It has a layout that kind of like, oh, as soon as you go on somebody's page, you know exactly what their style of content creation is. And I was looking for that when I started watching your stuff. And to be honest, I was like, what is it? What am I watching, And then a few videos in, I was like, oh, it's her charm. It's her. Like, she's that special sort of thing. And I think that, don't discredit yourself or make less of that at all, because when you are what brings, your content together, there can't be a formula that works out without you. And for a lot of people on YouTube right now, you can replace them with anybody, and as long as they follow that formula, they're good to go, because the formula is there. Their thumbnails and their templates and all of that are made a certain way.
I really suck at that. I just take a screenshot.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like I think that's okay, because there's a sacrifice with doing it that way as well.
It also makes it more genuine and raw.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think also, like, me personally, like, I was going for my own personal channel, I was like, I don't know what I should be doing, what type of content I should be making. And then when I started watching your stuff, I was like, okay, just be yourself. Like, I forgot that people are there for you. Like, and sometimes I forget that. And then while watching your stuff, I was like heavily inspired. So then I started, vlogging my own, family and all that stuff. And it really like helped me. And
but that's also fun to watch. For example, and I'm not like saying bad things about others, but like reacting to TikTok videos, for example, it's fun, but it's just not like everyone is doing that.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
That's a type of video that you could make, and again, that's what I say, like, that's replaceable, right?
Yeah,
it's anybody can do it. And the person who's reacting, maybe like people are there to watch them, right? And when we have these titles like social influencer, that's what that essentially means. It's like, okay, I want to watch this person who I am influenced by do this thing, but what is it that makes them, that thing? And sometimes a lot of people will gravitate away from what got them that sort of attention in the first place, just to sort of follow what everyone else is doing. And like you're saying, when you go to your page, it's just like, this is life of Haya. Like, we're not gonna do anything different than what's comfortable to you, but that's what makes it a comfortable experience for others, just that relatability. But I'm curious to know, like, you say that it's not going to be like a career thing or anything like that, then why do it? And why involve your family and share so much? What does it mean to you?
The thing is, I was doing theater and it was really fun, but I stopped doing it, so I couldn't put my creativity, like my thoughts and my things, somewhere. I was just like, oh, theater ended, I can't do anything, now I just have to study. So I was like, you know what, just vlog. So I just ordered a camera and I got it the next day on first Ramzan, and I just vlogged. That's how I started, actually. Really basic.
Were you watching vloggers? Like, what made you be like, let me just vlog?
The funny part is I didn't have a YouTube channel at all. I wasn't subscribed to anyone. I was just random on YouTube. Recommendations. That's it. That's what I did.
The hilarious thing is, I think on your first vlog, you even said, like, who's gonna watch this?
Yeah, that's how she started out. That's like your first sentence,
I was like,
right?
"Kaun mujhe dekhega?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And now
it.
you're here.
But
That's incredible.
I started with an Instagram page. I like clicking pictures. I was like, you know what? Let's just do that with captions and stories. And then eventually I started vlogging. A good friend said to me, you should do it. I was like, okay. And then I did it.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you mentioned before, that this is very different than what your sort of career is going towards. Your theme in a lot of your vlogs seems to be studying. I have to study. What are you studying for currently?
I study social work in university.
Yeah. So why social work? And you said that people don't take that seriously. What do you mean by that?
I think like my parents as well. I used to study economics whole my life. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do social work. I needed to explain them what it was. And eventually, if you still ask them what is Haya doing, they won't know what I'm doing. But if you ask them what is Hassan or Raza doing, my brothers, they know the answer because it's IT and marketing. Because it's I don't know, it's something they know.
That they understand.
Yeah.
So what in the world of social work are you attracted to? What about it makes you want to do it?
I like helping people, and that's why I chose it actually. And that's the main reason. The thing is, I used to be a really good student, and then eventually I sucked at studying. And my dad really wants me to get a degree, and I also want to get a degree. So social work was the safest option. Because I didn't know what I wanted to study. I was like, you know what? I like helping people. Just study this. Eventually you get interested in the subjects and eventually you get a job that you like. That's how my thought process worked.
Are you planning to take it worldwide, different countries or,
No. Here, it's easy. I know everything.
How's social
simple.
work perceived in Belgium?
There is a big demand of social workers. So it's nice.
Okay.
Is this family social workers, working with children specifically, or do you just like the world of it in general?
You can choose what you do, basically. I used to do an internship with children. They were in a house and they were not allowed to live with their parents by law because there were family issues, drugs or divorce or anything, extreme cases as well. I was doing my internship there, for example. Or you can be in a company helping employees with burnouts. It's really big, and you can do eventually everything, like projects, or you can have a government job helping people to find a job, stuff like that.
Nice.
Is this something that you would ever include in your videos, whether it be talking about that, the social life of people, the mental health aspect of it, or anything like that?
I make videos about my mental health.
Okay.
Others would be different because I also don't feel my university life. With the basic reason is because no one speaks English and Urdu. They speak Dutch. Mm-hmm. So I guess showing if I get a degree and get a job, showing it would make no sense because no one is speaking Urdu. Get the point?
I'm confused on that part. What do you mean, showing that would be?
I don't know. It's for example, if I want to show what I do as a job later on, it would be, I can show it, but I don't show it because I wouldn't show it because of
I'm
the
not
language.
saying you would record you actually on the job, but I'm saying incorporating your experiences and what people are going through to sort of heighten awareness of certain things maybe.
I wouldn't do that. As a social worker, you are not allowed to do that as well.
Yeah.
For example, when I was doing my internship, I had to sign contracts to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, you talked about your brothers a lot, and you're sort of I guess the difference between sometimes those experiences. And your most popular video is my struggles of being a Desi girl. And so as the only girl, in your household, What are some of the difficulties that you face that are like at the top that make it different than a guy would?
Now I don't have any difficulties. Before I had, because I had to, because they're also older than me, I had to follow them, what they're doing. They went to this school, I had to go to this school. What they did, I had to do. After a while, I decided I don't want to do. They were doing, what were they doing? You have different type of levels of studying. You have like the difficult one, and then you have the one underneath it. And I wanted to do the one underneath it. I was like, I don't want to do the hard one. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I was 14. My mom said, no, you do the same thing as your brothers. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I eventually changed, and I was really happy with that. And then I was not allowed to go outside or with friends because I am a girl, I guess. And my brothers were allowed to do that.
But to be fair, that's not something that you personally would want to do much either, would you?
No, but for example,
but when it's a choice, it's different.
Yeah, I will give you an example. I was 12 years old. My, how do you call it? The school is just around the corner here. My little brother goes there. When we were three together in that school, we were allowed to go alone and come back alone. And when my brothers had to leave the school because they had to change the school, I wasn't allowed anymore to go alone or come back alone because I was a girl. That make sense?
That might. Well, you were younger too. That might be a safety thing.
No, but they were allowed to go alone and come back alone.
Because they're able to maybe protect themselves a little bit better. I'm just trying to...
That's not a very progressive thought that you're saying there for us.
No, like, I'm saying guys, when they're out alone, if they're walking, they're less likely to get harmed.
She's saying it's across the street.
It's just around the corner.
Okay.
And so she's saying that at their age, she's allowed to do that, but she's unable to do that the same age that they were. And I get that. I can see exactly how you feel because I am the same way. I have two older brothers. And it wasn't more of a safety thing. It was more of like a, okay, you know, or sometimes it's masked as a safety thing. And it's more so them playing out their own fears. But to an extent, it has to be like they have to let you live a little bit. To be like, okay, you feel over-sheltered, over-protected. So I feel you because I have two older brothers too.
How did you break that?
How I did it?
Yeah.
I just stood up for myself. I was like, I want to change school. So I changed school and then I went alone. I remember we used to message mom always when we took public transport to school. So when we're at school, we had to message her, okay, we are at school. I stopped doing that. And that makes no sense to me. I couldn't understand why she wanted us to do that. I stopped doing that. I was like, I'm not going to do that because it makes no sense. Because my school was also, it was like you have to drive 10 minutes. So it was not that far away. So like that makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. And then eventually when I got older, they saw that she is responsible enough. I remember when I was in my room, my dad was talking to my mom and she was like, he was like, I would say it in Urdu, it's easier. He was like, हाँ हया को समझाओ ना बड़ी हो रही है और ये सब. And my mom was like, she knows it. She knows everything. So eventually by time they understood it. Now they don't say anything. I'm allowed to go everywhere.
I mean, I don't know if it's just because it's your vlogs, but it seems like everyone's like kind of listening to you in a way. Like everyone's like looking towards you in a way. That's what it seems like. Your vlogs.
Like when I do it?
Well, that, but also like just how you carry yourself like around your family. Like it seems like, you know, everyone's like kind of looking at you.
Like they let you
my
be
family
maybe.
Or the
they let you be you. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad doesn't say anything anymore.
How was that when you first started that, you know, did you guys have a conversation about like the whole vlogging thing, including them mentioning things, or did you just do it?
I just did it. I never asked them.
Wow.
Did they ever say anything or ask any questions?
They didn't.
They were never like scared, like, oh, our relatives here
No.
could see this, or
No, they
this-
weren't. I remember when I went to a shadi as well. It is mentioned in the video, my struggles of being a Desi girl. I was just randomly there. I didn't want to go, and the auntie said, "Oh, I watch your videos." My mom had like a big smile. I was like,
Oh.
They never had a problem.
I
I think.
think-
That's really
Now
nice.
they do. Eventually, my dad always roams around at the house without a shirt. So whenever I hold the camera, he's like, "Don't film me." I'm like, "Okay."
Because they know about the audience now, probably, right?
Yeah.
What was their
Yeah,
reaction when
because
you
it's
first
bigger.
had that?
The what?
When you first had a huge following out of nowhere?
They said I was crazy. I remember when I got the shout out, I couldn't express my happiness to anyone because no one knew Irfan Bhai. I was like, "Hey, give me a shout out." I'm like, "Who?" I was like, "Okay, shut up." Let me be happy. I went crazy, and mom and dad were like, "Pagal ho rahi hai, pagal ho rahi hai." No, that's it. Now they're like, "Oh wow." My khala as well, she messages me as well.
Oh.
How is this possible? And all of this.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. But then also
Everyone is supportive.
that's awesome.
Alhamdulillah.
But with your dad, you're open about his health issues as well. Why is that important for you to mention?
If I have to agree, I never said 100% what is going on with him.
Mhm.
I remember when I did a video with him eating golgappa.
Mhm.
He said a lot of things. I cut everything out
Okay.
because I wasn't comfortable with that. Maybe he is comfortable telling everyone. I wasn't because I really believe buri nazar lagti hai. So I was like, I have to cut this out. And the only thing I mentioned, or he mentioned, was that he had a head tumor, a brain tumor, not a head tumor. Oops. But that's the only thing I am opening up with. The other stuff I don't say.
Do you feel like sometimes you have to disclose at least what is going on to your audience, and is that why you did mention that?
No, because my dad wasn't ill right now. It was in 2016.
Mhm.
It does describe him as a person. For example, when someone says, "Oh, what is your dad doing for a living?" I don't answer to that question because he's not allowed to do anything. He can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't say the reason, or I don't say what he's doing. I just say the story behind it, and then you just need to guess about it.
Mm.
You
Right.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, now as well, he has to be admitted next week in the hospital, but I never mentioned that because I
It's you
just don't.
do what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
It
I
makes
just don't.
sense.
I just say his health is not okay, and that's it.
Mhm.
Like, you don't need to know what it is.
Right.
So-
I guess.
So sometimes do you feel like your audience is maybe part of your family sometimes?
I really believe they are a part of it because I really receive a lot of prayers, and I'm really happy and really glad about that. I remember when I posted, I thought I would never post anything about family when someone is ill or something, but I did that with my nani because I really believe कि किसी की भी दुआ लग सकती है. So I was like, you know what, just post it, Haya. No worries. At least if you don't want to reply back on DMs, don't, but at least post it. So I did that eventually, and when she passed away, I was like, should I post it or should I not, or should I just wait and disappear again? And then eventually I just posted it, and then I disappeared, and then I posted a story, okay, I'm doing fine now.
How do you
Eventually
determine
you-
what you post, what you don't post? Through that process, for example, was there a lot of battle between, what should I do?
Ask my parents most of the time.
Okay.
I'm like, should I do that or should I not? And then eventually they say yes or no, and then when they say yes, then I do it, and when they say no, then I don't. That's the main thing. I think my dad was admitted last year as well in the hospital, and I was making videos at that time, but I didn't post it. Like, for example, next week he will be admitted. I won't post that. Yeah, now I said it, but like I won't post that.
But would it be
Because-
like just videos you're making in general, or like you would be making it about him that you wouldn't post?
No, anything. Like I'm not going to. The thing is, you can't say 100% everything what is going on in life. I believe. I think the relevant things are really important. Like I guess it's hard to think. For example, if someone asks me what is your favorite color, and you say green, but eventually, what would you do if you know that my favorite color is green? You get what I mean? Same with the health of my dad. If I say he's ill, that's it. You don't need to know what is the meaning behind ill, you know? If he even has a fever, Allah khair kare. If he, I don't know, has a heart transplant or anything.
What are you
maybe
trying to
Allah khair kare.
insinuate that like somebody can do with the information, like harm you in some way, or like do too
Not
much?
harm me. My dad never openly says to everyone what he's going through. Also in private life, like not everyone knows 100% what he has gone through.
To make the topic more comfortable, you're talking
Yeah.
about the
It's
green
easy.
thing. So like, if somebody knows that your favorite color is green, what can they do with that? What can they do with that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's not important to know that my
Okay.
favorite color is green. If you're okay, I get it. If
So you're
a
giving
fan,
away minimal information that they can't
Yeah.
do anything with.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, with
And
that, I
I
think
really-
like I think it's maybe two different things, because it's like some things it's private, and there's much more to it than that, and then some
Yeah.
things, like for example, that's like your dad or your family or just anything that's going on with you that it would take a lot to explain, but something
Yeah.
like the color green, for example, and I actually asked you that before we started this. It kind of helps to know you a little bit, If you would have said black, I would have thought something different of you. If you would have said, a different color, sometimes those little things, it's like that type of information maybe is just like, oh, okay, like that's the way she thinks, And it's not as much about like, oh, that's what's going on with her. It's like that's just the way that, or that's maybe like the mind state she's in, or that's the things that she
Yeah,
likes.
I get that. As well with the health thing, it's not my health. It's my
Exactly.
dad's. And
Yeah.
if he isn't comfortable showing it or like telling it,
Yeah.
then I also don't tell
That's
it.
like if they ask what's your dad's favorite color, and it's like what's the point of knowing that? I
Yeah.
guess.
Like what does he do for a living?
Yeah.
Why would you want
Yeah,
to
that
know
doesn't help. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
I also
Um,
think that
it's like
sometimes
that.
when things matter more, it's more comfortable to leave it to ourselves, because you yourself, if it's like a hard topic for you yourself, you don't want to be explaining it to a larger, to more people, because it's something so
Yeah.
personal to you.
Yeah.
And like what you're dealing with.
Yeah, also because when you said the color green defines you, I don't want the health of my dad defining me. I really don't want to be in this lower position where people have to be like, oh, sorry. Also because of that, maybe I don't share what is going on. The
Yeah, that
Nani
makes a lot of
part I
sense.
did because I asked to pray for her. So I was like, you know what? Let me share it. And my mom was like, yeah, you can share it. So
Yeah, I think
Makes
ultimately
sense.
you know the situations of different things, and you know what's best, and your family knows what's best. So
yeah.
obviously, if people need to know something or they don't need to know something, that's really up to you. So that's good
Yeah.
that you had that sort of radar for that.
I don't
Um,
have a specific rule. It's just where I feel comfortable.
Instinctual.
Yeah, I would share it, and if I don't, then I don't share it. And
Yeah.
That's
What is your social life like in real life, apart from what you are online, like your friend groups
with
and stuff?
friends.
Yes.
I don't include them in my vlogs because they are not Pakistani. But nothing special. I go out, I guess, like everyone. I go to uni. Now I don't because the pandemic is really fun. That's it. I go to...
What's the reason for not including them? Because they're not Pakistani.
They don't speak... My audience is Urdu
Okay.
and English, I guess. And we speak Dutch.
They don't
So
speak English at
yeah.
all, or
I think they can, but we don't. Like you
okay.
have a certain. I think it's a culture you have with someone. For example, I'm really uncomfortable talking to in English right now because I know you guys speak Urdu, for example. While my brothers as well, they speak Urdu, but I talk in Dutch with them. And with my parents, I talk in Urdu. You have this kind of a connection with someone, and the connection is sometimes a language. And I have with my friends the connection in Dutch. So it's really uncomfortable when I will start talking in English.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to think about, but it definitely makes sense because it's like, yeah, they're your friends. You could have all these like, you know, things. I guess you could do subtitles or something, but then again, I don't know if you're going to be writing Urdu subtitles.
Really tiring.
Yeah. So with that, you know, talking about the social life stuff, I saw your video that you recently did. That was the you took a break from social media. You deleted all your apps, right?
Yep.
What was that like for you? And you know, when you deleted all the apps, like how much time were you spending on them before you did that?
On my phone, I was
Yeah.
spending probably 9 to 14 hours on my phone.
What do you do? Just like go through Instagram,
YouTube,
and stuff?
Instagram, Facebook, nothing. Basically nothing. You don't. The thing I realized when I deleted everything is there is nothing special on my phone. Like
How long did you do it for?
I think it was 2-3 weeks.
Wow.
2-3 weeks.
Did it
You were
help you reset?
gardening.
I did it because I had to pass my exams. That was the main reason. And now I am barely on my phone.
You said something though that really stuck out to me, which you said, you know, you had this like fear of missing out, and
Yeah,
That-
I had that. I logged in one time on Instagram during the 3 weeks. I was like, no. And then I removed it.
because it's just like so much information, you know, every
Yeah.
day that if you miss one thing, even like, you know, you'll be in these different groups on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, and your friends will send you all this information, whether it be like something funny or something that's going on in the world. You'll see it on your feed, and if you miss even a day, you could have missed like so much information.
I
But-
missed a lot of news. I was
Okay.
I deleted Facebook, and Facebook is the only resource of me and news. It's
Yeah,
not a
why
good
did you
thing.
say that? Why is Facebook your news source?
I don't watch news. I
Yeah.
liked a
Makes sense.
bunch of like papers, and then they just show up, and that's my news.
you don't
For
use
example,
sorry, you don't use Twitter or anything?
I don't have Twitter.
Okay.
Instagram and YouTube is enough to handle, to be honest. I
But
really
you're-
suck at them as well. So
You were saying about Facebook?
yeah, the thing, recently the Bollywood actor that committed suicide.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the name anymore.
Forgot his name,
Sis-
Sushant Singh.
There you go.
I didn't know when he did it. My brother was like, you know, I was like, oh shit, really? Can I read the article? He was like, go on Facebook. I'm like, I don't have it. Okay. So I wasn't catching up with news as well. I was really blanked out.
Yeah. A lot in some of your vlogs you talk about like overthinking, and I think you also like gave solutions on how it helped, how you overcame that as well. Did social media and all that also play a huge effect in your overthinking as well?
Yes, because of my content. I started comparing myself with others. Why can't I be consistent? Why am I not doing this like this or that? Why don't I care about camera gear? And when I deleted my apps, I wasn't going through profiles of people and all that. So it did really help, because I'm also inconsistent with Instagram posts. While everyone expects you to post your face, and I post most of the time other pictures. So yeah.
How
now
have you been?
I don't care.
How have you been since then with social media? Have you started going on it less, or
I
you
don't
back?
care. I don't care about it anymore.
So like how
Like-
often do you go on? You were doing what, 9 to 14 hours a day? What are you like now?
I don't know. I never checked. But I think I still am around 3-4, because
Okay.
I use a lot of YouTube for music.
That doesn't count. I
But
think.
no, it doesn't. Okay, then it doesn't. But on Instagram, I try to be an hour on it to reply DMs. because I really care about them. But that's it.
That's a huge change. That's like really, really good. I hope I can. Do you have any tips of like getting there? You just go for it.
You can put on your phone a limit how much hours you can use the app.
Okay, I've never used that. My
I
friends use
also
that, but
didn't. I just said it as a tip.
She also had an incentive, which was like, I need to pass my exam. So
Yeah, that was the main reason. Because the thing was, I was sick before the lockdown as well. I was 2 weeks ill. I had high fever and I had mumps. I don't know how, but I just had it. So I had 1 week mumps and then 1 week fever. That's when the corona thing got the hype. I was tested negative. Then the lockdown came, so I eventually missed 2 weeks of uni, and then I missed the whole lockdown with uni. My university was really, they made a bad decision with online classes. We barely had online classes, we just had handouts, and the teacher was just talking. So it was like, here you go with everything, you do everything on your own. And the procrastinator I was doing nothing.
yeah.
So
How
I was
was-
like, I need to get this straight.
How was the whole situation with the pandemic in Belgium and stuff?
There was a lockdown. You couldn't go out. The only thing that was open was supermarkets and pharmacies. That's it. And then I think after a month, everything was open again. But like with protocols and all that. Now, for example, you have to put a mask on if you go outside. Before that, you could go in supermarkets as well.
makes sense.
Now it's the second wave is as well going on.
But
eventually,
overall, how are you guys like as a country? Are you doing pretty good with it?
I don't know. I don't go through Facebook anymore. The only thing I know
Because
is
we're doing pretty horrible.
Yeah.
America, but that's because in the beginning, not you, but like the country, didn't do anything right. They were ignoring the fact there was a virus.
I think
right?
We
that
got
like
crazy
at, I
people
think
over
at
here.
a federal level they weren't, but like states they were like trying, like, you know, people were shutting down, things were shutting down, but yeah, I mean, I think the bigger problem is that they started to open things up really quickly.
What's your perception of Americans?
Oops. About the country, I would
Just
say
Overall,
overall.
Americans.
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 Okay, I came to America, right? I was really excited because everyone is like, America this, America that. Americans as well, they say like, we are like, nice country.
freedom.
Yeah.
But when I came, it was nothing special.
Where did you go?
I went to North Carolina.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, that might be why it wasn't too special, but also, why'd you go to North
That's-
Carolina?
No, I went with a camp. So.
A camp? Oh, like a trip, like a school trip?
Yeah. No, school with friends. So we were sent by the American embassy from here to there
Oh, okay.
as an opportunity. That's it. It was
How
fun
long were you
though.
here for?
I think 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
And only in North Carolina.
Yep.
What? I mean, there's so many better places, but
I know, but I think it depends as well. I was with a host family.
okay.
They were really fun, not going to lie, but they were old, so maybe that says it all. But the Americans are nice, not going to like say anything. But I just didn't
Some of them
find.
are.
You didn't see the hype.
No, I didn't see the hype.
All right, next time you plan to come to Maryland, come to New York, and we'll show you around.
Yeah.
Okay,
That'd be fun.
sounds fun.
Okay, last question about your videos before we try to wrap this up a little bit. You have the term muotake on a lot of your videos. That's one of my personal favorite things to use. Explain to people that don't understand what muotake is. What is that, and where do you use it?
Muotake. I used muotake when I went to Italy. We just went randomly to Italy. That's what it is. Muotake chale gaye.
Without preparation.
Yeah, we did nothing. My brother said, let's go to Italy. I was like, okay, we booked, I think, 2 weeks or 1 month I don't know, he booked it. I didn't pay anything. That's the only advantage to be a girl. I didn't pay anything. He did everything. He was like, okay, let me book 3 tickets. I'm like, okay, do whatever you want to. And he did. And when we landed, and when we were like here, when we were at the airport and everything, we were like looking up what we could do. Or we were asking people there, like, oh, is there anything we should visit nearby? That's how we did it. Mutake was basically, that was it.
Yeah.
Mutake means basically random doing something. That's actually most of my vlogs are like that. But
that's what my dad likes to say anytime we're doing something, without preparation, without thinking.
Yeah.
It's more in a yelling way. So it's something funny to use now, that, like, you know what I mean? Like, he'll be like, "Mutake ye kar liye." Like, you didn't think about it.
Yeah, we didn't think about it. It was like really hot. Eventually we had to go back to the airport, and we went 2 hours before we had to be there because it was so hot. We were like, we have to go. You don't like heat? No, I don't.
Is Belgium, you're saying, isn't typically that hot?
No, it isn't. It isn't. Like, I know in the US it's really hot. I went once and it was really hot.
Depends where you are.
Yeah, it depends.
In North Carolina, I came back. I remember when I came back, I was tanned a lot, and my brother's nikah was, I think, 5 days later. So when I came back, the second day I had to take another plane to Pakistan. And my khala was like really pissed at me. She was like, "What did you do with your face?" I'm like, I didn't choose for it. The sun was shining. Yeah, I don't like heat. I like it. I don't hate it, but it's just, I'm not used to it.
You gotta
like,
be
for
careful
example,
with getting tan for your family members. Me, if I see sunlight, I'm just like sitting and basking in it. I'm like, let me get tan. But when there's a function, your family can get pretty mad. They're like,
I don't get why it's not me who is, like, it's the sun. It's not my fault.
The sun's just doing its thing. Why not?
That's it. I remember when they said to me, you need to get a facial. I'm like, hello, what? And the same day I landed, she took me to a where did she took me? I don't remember where she took me, but there was this auntie. She was putting everything on my face, and I was so tired. I fell asleep on the chair. I was so tired. I was like, do we have to do this today? She was, yes, we have to do this today. The nikah is in 3 days. I'm like, yeah.
The most.
So overall, when it comes to your videos, what's the underlying message, or what do you hope that people gather from it, no matter how long it goes on? What's like a takeaway that you hope that everyone kind of gets from watching you in your life?
Be yourself, I guess. It's easy. It's not hard. I don't get why people want to be a certain way or something. Just be yourself and try to maybe like get the best thing out of yourself. For example, I knew I was a lot on my mobile phone and it's not helping me. So the best version of me is learning not to be on my mobile phone. You know what I mean?
Simple.
Yeah. Nothing too special. Everyone asks me these questions always, like, why are you so relatable, or how are you so relatable, or why are you so original? I don't have an answer to that. It's like
you're just being you.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a higher following, you get more views, then people want to know that, again, that magic formula that, like, how did you do it? If we were looking at, for example, if I compared our channels to what you're doing and things like that, we can't try to be like you. We don't have as many subscribers or anything, but if we tried to do that, then we would shift away from everything that we are and why people enjoy us. And then we would, people would get disappointed, actually. And same goes for you.
Yeah, I can't be, for example, I can't be like you guys. I have seen your vlogs. I'm watching you guys before I even started. The thing is, everyone has a different way to be himself or herself. For example, you guys are really active. I am not like that. I am not like my brothers as well. They're not like me. But eventually, if you be yourself, you have more fun. I guess if you would if you would make vlogs, because I am making my vlogs like this, you won't be happy with it, I guess. If I will be making a video about reacting on TikToks, which is not a bad thing, but I know it's not me, I won't be happy with the video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
That's the main
I know
reason.
exactly what you mean because I did that with the video, and and that video on my channel has the most views, and I hate it the most. Like,
That's
I can't
the
wait to
thing.
get rid
okay,
of it.
Maybe you wanted to have the views, or people, because it's a trend and people do it. It's nothing bad. If you want to do it, you do it. If it sounds fun to you, you do it. But in my eyes, I don't like it. I won't do it. I don't want to do it.
The funny thing is, like, you know, nobody has ever brought that video up. Nobody has ever brought it up in conversation. Nobody ever, like, when they talk about the things that I do personally, right? The videos that have like a couple hundred views or something like that, they're always talked about. People always bring them up whenever they're talking about my content. And those are the ones that last forever. And it's exactly like you were saying earlier, you know, when it comes to those types of videos, the reaction ones, it's not like you're going to go back and show your friends necessarily, like, unless something's super funny or creative. But most of the time, you're not like, yo, watch this reaction video. You would maybe watch the video that they're reacting to, because that's the one that is popular enough to be talked about and reacted to.
Yeah.
So
also because of, I think, preferences. If you would have seen my latest video, and if now I make a video about TikTok reacting on it, there is a big difference. And if I want to show someone my content, they will be like, okay, what is your content? I won't show the video of TikTok. I would show the video of my social media thingy that I deleted all my apps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's nothing bad to make this type of videos and follow the trend or anything like that.
I think it's also, like, really important what you talked about is, like, being happy with your product rather than the results.
Yeah.
And
that's how I feel.
The fact that you've learned that so quickly, I feel like, is awesome. I feel like, you know,
thank you.
Like, people, I don't know, like, people like FouseyTube and stuff, right? He's somebody that would make content just to get a lot of views, and then he found out, like, 6-7 years later that I have to make content that I truly enjoy.
See, eventually you forget about those kind of people. Not to be rude, I used to watch him as well. Now I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I don't watch him. I think he doesn't. Does he even make videos? I don't even know.
He does. I don't know what he does. Like,
he comes back like every once a year.
Eventually you forget about these kind of people.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, yeah, we're really glad that you are, you know, you like to be yourself, and you're unapologetic about it. And I think, you know, no matter how you know, shy and quiet you are, your sort of actions and the way that you present yourself, it speaks volumes, and it's really inspiring. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you online?
YouTube and Instagram. That's it.
YouTube and Instagram. All right, we'll link it up in the description. Before you go, there's one question we asked to all of our guests. So Amber, if you want to ask her that question.
If you could describe yourself as any flavor, what would it be and why?
Like an ice cream or anything?
Just any flavor.
Is there something fancy over there that you describe yourself with? Or not?
She says goldfish again.
No, something full of sugar but a little bit of salt in it.
What would that be?
That's like was it the caramel?
Caramel?
Sea salt caramel.
Yeah, maybe that. I don't know if you like caramel.
I do.
Okay.
No, not that. Wait, let me think.
Yeah, get your flavor right. Take your time.
You have this. It's a weird combination. My mom doesn't like it, but you have this sugar bread. It's basically bread. It's not sugar, but it's like mita.
Is it like it's like cinnamon bread?
Yeah, mita bread. Wow. My combination with it is you put.
I just saw a video of you saying that, just like that. bread, right?
Yeah. It's bread, but I always put chicken in it.
Yeah,
so it's
chicken
kind of
bread.
like sugar.
Oh, it has a glaze on it.
No.
Okay.
Wait, let me think again.
No, you can say it. Go ahead.
It's basically something. It's sugary, but it's also salty. You know what I mean?
What is it?
Something.
Mita bread.
It's just bread.
You
It's
can
a
just say
combination
mita
of
bread.
bread.
You can say
Yeah, mita bread with the
chicken.
in
Perfect.
between, and I eat it.
And I
It's
eat it.
mita. It's mita, and it's thoda khatta. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
khatta, but like salty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Kata mita bread, chicken bread.
Yeah, I
Mita.
guess.
Yeah, you'll find out more about what exactly that means if you watch her videos. So everyone, go watch her videos. She's really inspiring, especially if you're a young person, maybe studying, going to school, and even more so if you're a young Desi girl. She's incredibly inspiring to watch. So again, Haya, thank you for being on our podcast.
Yeah,
We
thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
And for everybody listening, thank you for listening to another episode of Strange Flavors. It's been another week.
Another flavor.
A little less stranger.
We'll talk to you next time.
The ground's very thin, the curtain's now closing. It's quitting time, they say give it time, but I gave it all mine, now I'm empty. Gave it every single cent to every penny. Don't just